Microphone on. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Beaumont, the 72nd club founded in the world. What year? 1913. Where all members serve to change lives. Those on Zoom, we're asking you to please mute your microphone now. And all of you, take a moment now to check in with your Facebook. I see you, West. You're doing that for me. Thank you. And to lead our invocation is Catherine Fuller, financial advisor, Edward Jones, our pledges by Tish Cornell, marketing specialist, Common Sense Credit Union, and introduction of guests, Carolyn Fernandez, president, CEO of Catholic Charities of Southeast Texas. Catherine?
Woodrow Wilson said, "There is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good is the greatest creed." Let us remember that this week as we serve others. Lord, Isaiah 40:29 promises that you give strength to the weary and strengthen the powerless. Please give strength to those affected by Hurricane Ida. Please give us the power to help them recover. We ask for wisdom to know how to help and for the resources to be helpful. We have been so blessed when we were hurting as a community. Please allow us to be a blessing to their hurt community. As a Rotary family, we are here to serve. We stand ready to serve our neighbors. Thank you for our servants' hearts. In your name we pray. Amen.
If you'll please join me in saying the pledge to our flag and to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, with liberty and justice for all.
Follow the Texas flag, instead of allegiance to the Texas state and one individual.
Oh, you're doing that because I'm short, huh? No, just kidding. Good afternoon, everyone. I have the distinct honor of the hardest job, I think, and that's introducing our guests and getting all the names right. When I call your name, if you would please stand with your Rotarian host. And so our guests for today, we have Rachel Kane, who's the guest of Michael Perez and Stephanie Roberts. Very good. And then we have Jerry McMillan, who's the guest of Rebecca Maxwell. Are you guys standing? There we go. Very good. And Marcus Vasquez, welcome back, sir. He's the guest of Steve Lucas. Very good. Thank you. Art Rodriguez, who's the guest of Dee Lane. Awesome. Derek Owens, who's my guest. Hi, Derek. And then Charlotte Maines, who's the guest of Bobby Applegate. Miss Charlotte, hi. And last but not least, we have Steve Kidwell, who is the guest of Rotarian Santino Mashatiri. Very good. Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn. And now for a report on board action, our board secretary, Dana Timaeus, with the law firm Dana Timaeus.
Our adept, adroit, accomplished, proficient, somewhat technically savvy board of directors voted electronically on 3 new membership proposals, not because we were in a hurry so much, but we were trying to be timely and green, and we decided we wouldn't kill any more trees, but we would inconvenience a few electrons. We passed and approved Dana Simmons as a new member, owner, Team Dana Simmons Real Estate, proposed by Robert Cocott, classification real estate residential. Misty Fountain, Assistant Vice President, Business Development Officer for First State Bank of Texas, proposed by Kevin Reed. Classification Banking, Business Development. Angie Hebert, or Bear, depending on your point of view, Vice President of Communications and Physician Relations, the Medical Center of Southeast Texas, proposed by Joanne Brown, classification, hospitals, physician relations. And approved a former member's return to the club. Brandon Fisher, Executive Vice President and Chief Lending Officer of First State Bank of Texas, classification banking-commercial. And also approved a classification change because of a job change for D. Lane from Executive Sales R&P Employer Solutions, Inc., classification sales-business staffing, to Senior Commercial Sales Vector Security, classification security systems-commercial sales. Anybody wanting to object to a new member has 10 days to do so. Please contact Jackie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana. You see that in just a couple of months, July, August, we're well on our way to meeting our goal of membership growth. It's been suggested that we move the goalpost. Jay, bad idea. We're doing well. We're on our way to a membership of 250. It's a bold goal, and we are certainly meeting the challenge. And now to welcome our newest members, President-elect Joanne Brown.
Thank you, President Brown. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to our membership and our guests today 3 new members. We have just spent the last hour in an orientation, and these are very impressive, dedicated community members. So we welcome them today. I start with introducing you to Nicholas Ganji. Nick is a very impressive friend to everyone. He is with the United States Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Texas, in the United States Department of Justice. He was born and raised in Northern California, but lived all over the great country as an adult, including most recently New Mexico. Why did he join Rotary? Listen to this. As a high school student, he attended Rotary Camp Enterprise. It was an incredibly positive experience for Nick, and he remembers being struck by how accomplished all the Rotarians he met were. In fact, his team coach was a United States magistrate judge, which was a major inspiration to his eventual career in the federal legal system. He'd like to best serve Rotary in a capacity as needed, but particularly he is interested in bringing a public sector to such an accomplished group. The hobbies that Nick dedicates his time to, listen to this. Once he won a $30,000 prize with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. For most of his time in New Mexico, he participated in local community theater productions, appearing in over a dozen shows, including the City of Albuquerque sponsored Summer Shakespeare Festival. He has appeared in an extra 2 episodes of the television program Better Call Saul. He's a big sports fan, and he is only 6 stadiums away from accomplishing and completing his lifelong mission to attend every Major League Baseball ballpark. Congratulations. Welcome, Nick. And my fellow Rotarians, he is fun. Have a seat, Nick. Feel free to have a seat. Our next member that we would like to introduce you to today is Erica Harris. Erica is the CEO Principal Consultant for Harris Consulting, LLC. Erica was born in Houston and spent most of her years in the community of Sheldon, which is near Crosby. She is interested in Rotary because she loves meeting people and volunteering. Teresa Simpson invited her to join Rotary. Plus, as a news reporter, she covered Rotary events. She is happy to serve wherever she is needed. Some interesting things about Erica is that she loves to cook. She loves to watch HGTV. She is a dog lover and a baseball fanatic. She is a broadcast veteran for over 24 years. She's a very dedicated PTA board member, long serving. She is married to her husband, Kenny, for over 20 years, and they have 2 sons. One is in college and one is a junior in high school. She is the proud pet parent of Bo, a toy schnauzer. Please help me welcome Erica Harris to the Rotary Club of Beaumont. Our third member who is joining Rotary today is Mohammed Sean Javed. Sean is a COO, Chief Operating Officer of Starco Impex Inc., which is a general merchandise delivery company. He was born in Pakistan, and he has been in the United States since many years ago. He came to Beaumont from New York City in 1986, and it was a change for certain, but he does love New York City, and he does love Beaumont. Sean has 5 children: Marianne, Fatima, Hara, Marianne, and Maz. Maz is their 5th child. Unfortunately, he is a boy. So that, I think, completes the family there. The other 4 are girls. Sean is a very impressive soccer player and golf player, and those are his hobbies. He is affiliated with the Church of IST in Beaumont, the Islamic Society of Triplex, forgive me for that. And they are currently hosting 10 families displaced by the recent hurricane. Please help me welcome Sean. And that concludes my report, President Brown.
Thank you, Joanne. Aren't you impressed at the work that our club is doing, all of you, in bringing new friendships into Rotary, helping us to be that large, vibrant, and active club that we want to be. Just a gentle reminder, everyone bring one, and let's grow our membership this year. Now for committee announcements, Rotary After Hours. This past week, I want to give a thank you to Amanda Ellis, our chair. We met at the John J. French Museum, had a tour, enjoyed our fellowship. It was a wonderful time. Everybody enjoyed it. Good time was had by all. We will have our Show Your Colors flag project. This is September 11th. We need volunteers. You'll see Pat. Pat, where are you? Stand up, Pat. Yeah, get with Pat. And so new members, there's Pat. You want to be on board for that. It's a great project, depending on who your team is. It's a great project. It's a great project. And wind down with Rotary. D. Lane, you have an update for us?
Okay, wind down is coming, and we have tickets in the back. Cheryl is, so you can sell them, buy them, all of the above. We are asking every member to sell 6 tickets. It is October 7th. I'm pretty sure that's the date. We're also, Cindy says yes. So we are also going to have a raffle. When the people that have done the raffles so far, we have American Bedroom, we have Inez Alvarez, who was a speaker for one of our meetings, and she's donating a painting, and there's a few other items going on. And I need help. So here is what we're going to do. This is going to be a little basket. Look, it's sad right now. It's pretty sad. It needs scratch off tickets. It needs any kind of gift card you want to give. And this is going to be one of the raffles. So feel free to bring next meeting or 2 or 3, whatever, a raffle ticket, a scratch off ticket, any kind of donation, whatever you need. If you don't want to bother with it, just bring me the money and I'll go get it for you. And we are having a meeting after after this is over, the wind down committee. Sherry, anything else? Okay, that's it.
Wind down, meet over here after the meeting. Thank you, Dee. Now, if you were a guest or a member for Inez's presentation, you were impressed. I'm sure you were as impressed as I was. And the raffle for a painting is huge and valuable. You want to be there for that, if only for that, but also for the fellowship. To introduce our guest speaker, past president Bobby Applegate.
Need my readers. Beaumont Community Players' first executive director, John Manfredi, came to Beaumont in 2017 as a result of a national search of candidates. He has worked professionally in many fields over 40 years, but he's only about 30, right? Yeah, okay. His credits include directing productions for Alabama Shakespeare Festival in Montgomery, and he's worked with Opera Pacific in California. He has headed organizations such as Performance Network and the Jewish Ensemble Theater in Michigan, and Edico Productions in New Jersey. Working as a union actor on stage and screen, John has performed in nearly 200 plays from William Shakespeare to David Mamet, and films and television shows such as Real Straight, The Great and Powerful Oz, Strain 100, Law and Order, one of my favorites, Unsolved Mysteries, and he is a voice of countless industrial films and commercials. As an educator, he taught at Oakland and Wayne State Universities and the University of Detroit. He was educated at Kenyon College and the Goodman School of Drama in Chicago, Illinois. That's Illinois McCabe. He's the father of 2 sons. BCP is an organization that's been around nearly 100 years. They formed in 2015 with a small group of volunteers and has grown to what is today a good staff with 10 productions per year with award-winning programs Kidmunity and the Margaret Bolton School for Performing Arts. Boasting over 300 active dates per year with BCP. It's 100 grown, homegrown. Everything is done from scratch, including the sets, the screens, the people, all resources. Using the arts to raise awareness is a time-honored tradition, and BCP partners with over a dozen area nonprofits providing unique and specific services to enhance their efforts and amplify their missions. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to John Manfredi.
Thank you, Bobby. Thanks for having me. Can everyone hear me? Good. Usually I just wing these speeches, but I brought file cards this time. Not because I'm older and can't remember. It's just because there's so much going on. I have to keep it in line. But I want to thank, I'm so glad to be here. Rotary's a very important organization and something that we at BCP definitely identify with because we feel we are a service organization as well. I was really pleased a couple weeks ago to be here for the Lutcher Theater presentation that you all saw. So I was glad to hear that. Anybody from the Lutcher here today? Oh, good. I don't say that because I'm going to say bad things about them. Okay. I want to use that so that I can demonstrate the theme of my talk today, which is community, which is the theme of what I want to talk about. Because next week, when the speaker comes up and asks, that they were glad that they were here to hear my speech and asks if anybody from BCP is here today, many hands will go up in the Rotary office. Dana Timaeus, Bobby Applegate. Tim Sudalla. We'll see a bunch of people who are involved with BCP that will come up because we are right here in your community. We, though, as an arts and culture organization, I'm glad that the Lutcher is selling tickets and bringing shows from out of town to Orange. That's good. That's a good thing. There's a place for that, right? We're happy that they're here and that they're selling tickets. I'm thrilled when Doug and the Symphony does well, because as far as when arts and culture is concerned, rising tides lifts all boats, right? And the more people that are going to arts and culture in one venue, we share a lot of audiences and people have a tendency to congregate. And arts and culture is something that is very important to a community. We want to maintain our best and brightest, and we want our people, young people, to stay here. And we work with young people a lot at Beaumont Community Players. If we want our young people to stay, we have to offer them more than a job. We have to offer them more than a paycheck. We have to offer them arts and culture. We have to offer them things to do. We have to offer things for their children, and BCP is a vital part of that. How many of you, first of all, have been to BCP? Raise your hands. That's a great number. Keep your hands up, though, because I want you to take them and point to those people who don't have their hands up and go like this. Shame on you. Shame on you. Right? Now, BCP is a community theater. Okay? So what do you think of when you think about community theater? Right? Right? You think, a bunch of our friends are gonna get together, we're gonna put on a show, we're gonna see some amateur actors, we're gonna go, and it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna hurt us to go and see it. Right? It's gonna be okay. It's our friends and family putting on shows for our friends and family. That's what I thought, before I came here. And as Bobby said, there was a national search to find me. And so when I came down here in 2017, right, and I came down for my interview just before Harvey. And to be completely honest, I had no intention of taking the gig. I had no intention of, I was coming down here because it's the right thing to do. They had interviewed me and I came down. But when I got to the theater, about 5:30 in the afternoon, and there were already people there for a show that started at 7:30. There was already, people had made food, and there was food in the green room, and people were feeding them, and there were families there. And all these people wanted to be at the theater. And I'm come from the professional theater, where if the show starts at 7:30, I'm getting in the door at 7 o'clock, right? And it's a job. Right? And when I got here and people were so thrilled to be here and they were excited to be here, what a sense of family, I kind of got sold on the place. And as I talked to people throughout my interview and I talked to the people around Beaumont Community Players, and I found out how important that organization is to those people, it energized me, and then I got enthused and I took the job. And then a hurricane came. And so my first call was, hey, I'm getting ready to come down there. Is the building still there? So I was going to make sure that, the building. So that was my introduction to be there. At BCP, though, we have a different take on community theater. We really embrace the community part of it more, because we are so involved in the community and the things that we do. We have a saying at BCP that it's not amateur theater, even though we're a community theater, right? Even though we don't pay our actors. Many other people, for us, though you might not know, are paid positions. Our stage managers are paid. Our directors are paid. Right? We have staff that is paid, a very small staff of 4 people. So that is paid. And those people work with us as we try and build our product. We like to say that we're a professional theater, right? Because we deal with the work in a professional manner. We approach the work in a professional manner. When you come to BCP, when you walk in the door, you're going to be treated exactly the same way as you would at the Lutcher, exactly the same way as you would at the Alley Theater, exactly as you would at the Dallas Theater Center. When you get your tickets, when the way that you approach, the way we approach the work in a very professional manner. We want to uplift the level of our game and bring our level of game up to how we make plays differently than we used to. If you come to BCP now as an actor, as a technician, right? When you're done with your time with us, You will then be able to go on to the Alley or to the Dallas Theater Center, to one of those places, and not be surprised by the way that things are done. Because we follow exactly the same procedures. We approach the work exactly the same way as those organizations do. And I want to go back just a little bit to what what they talked about at the Lutcher, right? At the Lutcher, they talked about the fact in their presentation that they are a presenter, right? Which means they bring shows in and present them. They have a foundation that pays over $1 million a year to fund their staff and their building, right? That is all taken care of. At BCP, there is no foundation that is funding our staff or our building. There are more people on the staff at the Lutcher to ask you for money than are on our entire staff. Okay? And that's and that's not to disparage them. They're just two different entities. Everything we do, as Bobby alluded to in her remarks at the beginning, everything that we do is homegrown. We start everything from scratch, right? When we need to build a set, we build it from scratch. We start. If I have to go to the hardware store, I go to M&D. That's where we want to go to the hardware store, right? If we talk about all those beautiful pictures that you see on the brochure that is at your desk, right? 2 of the 3 people that took those pictures are in this room, Tim Sedell and Dana Timaeus. Right? When I need pictures for my playbill, I call Dana, and Dana comes and takes the pictures, right? When in the beginning of COVID, March, right, of 2020, when everything stopped, right? Ticket sales stopped, shows stopped, meetings stopped. The only thing that didn't stop were the bills, the electric bill, right? The insurance bill, right? Who did we go to for help? Allegiance Bank, Steve Lucas. That's where we went because they're our bank, because they're our local bank, right? And that's how we got through the pandemic, because we are really a community theater. When I leave here today, okay, I will go from here to an event in our building for the Love Thy Neighbor campaign, where we will be taking supplies to help hurricane victims. At the beginning of COVID, when we shut down, the first thing that we did was we became an emergency triage center for Christus hospitals. That's what we do in our building. We're always reaching out. We always want to uplift people. Last year, when COVID hit and some other place could not perform their tasting that we all love and that we all go to, who did they come to? They came to BCP so that we could create a virtual tasting for them, right? PFLAG, Parents and Friends of Lesbians, Gays, and Transgender, they hold their weekly meeting in our space. They do their podcasts from our building. If you're a nonprofit and you want to have a meeting, you can come to BCP and you can use our facility for free. That's what it means to be a community theater. We're in the community. We're here. Everything that we do, all of the money that we generate with our little $330,000 budget a year, right? All of that money is homegrown. All that money goes back into the economy here in Beaumont. We have, how many people have any idea how many shows happen at Beaumont Community Players every year? Dana does. So there's a few people, but as Bobby alluded to, right, we start in our subscription season, the season that you see there on your play, but we do 8 shows a year, right? We do 8 shows a year, 8 full-blown shows, right? And those shows are expensive. They cost money, right? We do all of those shows every year. We have we have 2 small theaters, one that's 200 seats and one that's a little over 100 seats. And so that's the amount of revenue that we can generate based on those ticket sales. We have those 8 shows. Over the summer, we have 5 shows that we work with, full productions for our community. Our community program is a very well-renowned program for youth, right? And I saw, is Charles Locke here? Yes, he is, right? Who is one of the main supporters who gives scholarship money to our community program every single year. If you come to community, if you're a student and you want to come to community, you will not get turned away regardless of your financial state. Anybody who wants to participate in our community program in the summer gets to come. Anybody. Whether you have the money or not, we're going to find a way for you to come to class with us and participate in our class. So we do 5 classes. Well, we used to do 4 shows every summer, but I added another one, right? And we added another one called our Camp Interact, which is a camp for our students with special gifts. And that camp partners with the Young Men's Business League and with Lamar University, because we bring the Department of Speech and Language Pathology to our facility every single day. And those students in our Camp Interact program get to interact with 8 counselors throughout the day. And then we put on a show with them. So we have 5 shows. And at the end of the summer, then we put on a new play festival. This year was our 3rd annual new play festival. And in third place, our new play festival, which took in and read 330 different plays from across the country. 15 different countries also participated in those 330 plays that we read and then presented 2 of them. One of the plays that we read in our festival a couple years ago, called Tracy Jones, just got picked up by a theater in Michigan and a theater in Nevada. And so it is now being produced professionally out into the world because of something that we premiered. And when you look at the playbill for that play, it's going to say first produced at Beaumont Community Players, right? Because yeah, it's pretty special, right? Those are the type of things that we do because we're not messing around, right? We take what we do very seriously. And the community program is something, that's the real reason why I came to Texas. I came to Texas for that program. I came to Texas because that program, as I said, serves over 200 students a year. Now we have the special needs students and people that grow up in that program. We have people who start in that program who are now coming back to me as parents because their kids are in the program. It's a completely family entity, Beaumont Community Players. And one of the things that I can talk about for a long time, but I won't, right, is arts and culture as an economic driver. And I know Doug can speak to this and many people can speak to this, right? When you go to a show, right, at Beaumont Community Players, depending on which study that you read, that an average of between $27 and $35 is spent in your community on top of the ticket price. So somewhere between $27 and $35 that's coming into the Beaumont area economy every time someone goes to a show at Beaumont Community Players. We are an economic driver. We are important, right, to how we sustain life in Beaumont, Texas. So our little $330,000, $340,000 entity is putting over $1 million worth of revenue and activity into the Beaumont economy. And I think that that's pretty special. I think that that's pretty terrific. And it needs to be, it needs to be embraced. It needs to be uplifted. And so when we invite you to a show, we want you to come out to a show, not only are you going to get some good entertainment, you're doing good for the community as well. I mean, there are so many people in this room as I look around that are involved with us. I see Rebecca and I see Rachel Kane. Rachel, who was at rehearsal with us last night, right? Now, Rachel is a volunteer and she comes to us and she works as an actor with us. So as she comes to us, not only is she availing us of her talent, right? It's also probably costing her money to do a show with us because she's got to pay for gas. She's got to get there. She's got to do other things, right? So everything that we do is based in Beaumont. Everything that we do is a homegrown entity. Everything that we give back to the community is a homegrown thing. We are entrenched. We are part of the fiber of Beaumont, Texas, and we're happy to be part of the fiber. And as we continue to grow and as we continue to see the type of work that we do, as you started to see more premieres happening in Texas, as we start to see the new play festival, you see our very successful White Linen Nights fundraiser that we had. How many people got to go to that? That was pretty spectacular, right? So that is something that is going to grow for us as we continue. As we become, we want you to come and embrace us, right? The best thing that you can do to support Beaumont Community Players is to come to a show. Right? Come to the theater because we're going to give it back to you in spades in the theater, right? Beaumont Community Players we're going to give it back to you. When you come to us, we're going to give it back to Beaumont because it's important to us and what we do is important. And so my job as the new executive director is to continue to grow us, And I had one mission when I came here, and that was to make us do more things, right? To do more things, to be a bigger tent, to be the biggest tent in Texas. If you come to Beaumont Community Players, right, you're going to get to play. We don't care what race you are. We don't care what creed you are. We don't care if you're gay, straight, green, blue, purple. When you come, you're going to be welcomed. You're going to be welcomed. It's going to be a safe place for you. It's going to be a safe place for you, and it's going to be a safe place for your kids to come, where we will uplift you, right? Well, we will reach out to you and make sure that you're uplifted, that you're held up, that you're protected, and that you're safe, because that's important to us. Because we're not just making plays. We're making memories, right? We're making places for people to grow, right? I had my pick of at many, many places where I could have gone at this stage in my career. I wanted to come, not to sound like Liam Neeson, I have a particular skill set, right? Because there aren't very many people, right, in my field that have had success as an actor and a director and has also run major nonprofit organizations. So I didn't have to come to Beaumont, right? I chose to come to Beaumont. I came here on purpose. And the thing that is most distressing to me is the question that I get asked more than anything is, why'd you come here? Right? Why are you here? And that's what I hear from our young people too. If I talk to young people around here, how many young people do we know of that are talking about staying in Beaumont? Right? Not very many. Right? Not very many. So part of my job is to make Beaumont more attractive. I want you to be here. I want you to stay here. I want you to come. I love the Lutcher, but I don't want you to go there. I want you to come to my theater. That's where I want you to come, because this is where we're going to give it back to you to here in Beaumont. We're going to continue to give back, and we're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to be a service organization, and we're going to continue to do the things that we do in the community, which we did even when we were closed. When we closed in March of 2020, not only, as I mentioned, did we become a triage facility for Christmas, but we held events. We held outside events. We held coming together events. We did chalk mandalas in our parking lot. We painted "We Are One" in our parking lot so we could get together, so we could be out there. We work, we go to the, we go to some other place and we serve. We are a community organization, not just a community theater. And we're very pleased to be here. And that's really all I have to say. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer some questions. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the question is that there was a jazz series at the theater a few years ago. We do bring in, we do highlight other groups. We do let other people come in. That was a rental. We let people that come in that want to use our space, that want to rent our space and do things. We are bringing in, so we're a presenter too. So we are bringing a show in from New York in February called America's Sweethearts, which is a close harmony female trio, which is a love letter over Valentine's Day to the American military. And but even that show has a local tie, because the Broadway actress who is one of the three actresses is from Groves. So that's why we're bringing her back. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. We have. The question was, will we do more programming for kids outside of the summer programming? And we do. We have the Margaret Bolton School for Performing Arts. So throughout the year, we have two terms. We have a winter and spring term where we offer classes. The winter term is the fall term is coming up now. We'll start to announce classes in October. And we have classes for adults and children during that time. And we do host workshops on an occasional Saturday. I do a stage managing workshop. Sometimes we do a stage combat workshop. The best way to find out what's going on at our place is to visit our website, which is beaumontstages.com, and it has all the information for that. Our education program is where we hang our hat. That's where we think we do the most good.
Any other questions for John?
Thank you all so much.
Yes, community theater is a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad to see so many of our Rotarians investing their lives, their talents, and their money in the community theater. And thank you, John, for being here, presenting it to us. Thank you, John, for saying yes to Beaumont. Thank you for seeing the value that Beaumont brings. And thank you for your work in lifting us up with theater productions in a community sort of way. As a thank you and in appreciation for you being here today as our guest speaker, the Rotary Club is making a gift in your name to our End Polio Now Foundation. Thank you, sir, for being here. Also, thank you to Catherine, Tish, and Carolyn for taking a spot at that table today. You each represent us so well. Hey, John, there are a lot of chicks up at this table. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, next week, our speaker will be Andy Coughlin. He's a political cartoonist. You've seen his work in the Beaumont Enterprise. Remember, the Wind Down with Rotary Committee is meeting back at the work table. And remember to pick up an envelope that for Wind Down, that is Thursday, October 7th, right? You see Cheryl pick up a envelope with Wind Down with Rotary tickets there to sell. And welcome to the newest Rotarians in the world. Glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Erica, Sean, and Nick. Remember those names. Thank you all for being here. And thank you to all of our guests who were with us today. And Marcus, thank you for being back with us. Thank you. And remember your responsibility as Rotarians, Beaumont Rotary Club, is to bring a friend with you to Rotary. Everyone bring one. Now, please stand with me as we say the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, second, third, and fourth. Thank you. Have a good week and serve to change lives.